When you put yourself in front of a bunch of people, you're in a position to be judged. It's a very vulnerable spot. But I have some minor memories from a child in front of a class or something like that, being super embarrassed and sweating. But I do think a lot of it comes from, I have a speech impediment. I've had a lisp since I was young. And when I get nervous, it gets worse. And when I was younger, it was much worse. So I used to be teased for that a little bit, which made me, I'm sure, much more quiet and introvert and just not wanting to talk. So not wanting to talk around anyone, obviously, is much scarier to talk around a large group of people. So now standing on top of people, my mouth will get really dry. I'll start to be like, my tongue will stick out of my mouth. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to sound dumb. People are going to laugh at me and judge me. And it led to this kind of spiraling effect. And you really hit the nail on the head when you talked about the visual persona I give off when someone sees me or hears about my career or something. They already have an expectation of who I am. And that's something that I've worked on a lot in the past couple of years, of this differentiation with my therapist who's helped me with this, between what I would call C-Bum versus Christopher, and the difference of what people expect me to be, what I think people expect of me, and who I should be versus who I really am, and allowing myself to be that person who is a little bit scared, anxious, has a lisp, can step on stage and kind of embarrass himself a little bit. As you mentioned, voluntarily doing it is the whole secret to it. So when I started taking those nerves and those butterflies and that kind of feeling in my heart as a good sign, as a chance for growth and changing my perception on, okay, me feeling this right now, if I step into this is giving myself an opportunity to grow and become something better. So try and enjoy that a little bit more. You know, this is the feelings of racing in your heart, of being fear, scared, all these things. It's part of the human experience. And I think feeling anything is something great, better than feeling nothing at all. So I started to kind of try and enjoy it and be excited for what would result of it. And that's kind of continuously helped. And obviously when you're stepping on stage, if your goal is for people to like you, I've heard someone in the past say, I believe they said, then you're putting your self-worth on the line. You're giving your self-worth an issue to be judged. Versus if you step on stage and your only goal is to be yourself, then it doesn't matter if they accept you or not, because you can succeed just by being yourself. And that can lead to even more self-confidence. Obviously, it's a better goal to just be who you are rather than have people like you. So that was a huge process of what I kind of stepped through and all that. And like you said, you don't get less scared, you get more brave. Even before getting on the podcast, I was a little bit nervous. I still get nervous now. And I believe in myself more. I have more confidence from my track record in the history, and I'm more brave to step into it a little bit more. Tim Grover to Michael Jordan from when he was younger is talking about, instead of trying to fight the butterflies, just send them in the right direction. So when I start to feel those butterflies in my stomach and a little nervous, it's like, all right, you know, this is because changing my frame of mind rather than fear. I'm feeling these because I've worked really hard to be here. I'm very excited to be here. And I'm sure you know, anxiousness and excitement are almost the same thing. So if I can allow myself to believe how hard I've worked to be in this exact position, how long I've waited to hear, and of course I feel nervous and excited because this is really important to me. So feel all these feelings right now, because I compete once a year. So all my year is working towards that one day. And on that day, I want to feel everything I can rather than numb anything out and avoid it. So I'm like, this is part of this experience that I'm going to remember. Feeling nervous, and I've done this, the history helps me. I've done this 5 times, I've won 7 times I've been on the stage. Now I can step on the stage with experience, and I can have these nerves, and the nerves are going to fade, and I'm going to be left out there purely being present and joyful, feeling all of it. And I've just had that experience to go through it. And a lot of it has come from doing it numerous times. The work I'm doing outside, believing in myself, and that kind of change of frame. And I mean, the understanding that fear, anxious, and excitement are so similar that you don't need to focus on it being anxiety and bad. Rather, it could be a good thing.